So now we are ready to learn the 10th, 11th, and 12th movements of the fifth section. They are very short movements. Two of them are called, the first and the second one, 10th and 11th, is called above transfer and below transfer. And then the 12th movement is a transition to get us to the open stance of the open forward release. The transfer that we're learning right now are very, very simple, and they're really actually learning to transfer the weight of the body by the descending spring and then coming from above. We call it above transfer because from the extension of the leg, we return to the center of vertical extension from which we're descending again to transfer the weight. So first the movement goes from above and then goes below, which means that descending through the floor to change the weight of the body. So I'm just going to show it to you, and then after the movement, we'll give you some instruction to it. We'll start in the stance and the moon, because that's when it ends the last movement, the ninth movement. 3, 4, and the back release. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, when you get to expansion, descending spring. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, descending, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is the last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, from below, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is the last one, 2, 3, 4, the transition, 1, 2, 3, 4, infinity, 2, 3, 4. So a little bit of information here for this movement. You know the moon that we tell you before when you go into the last movement. You avoid as much as possible to push back with your arms, but you open the radius of the circles of the arm. So the radius of the circles of the arm reflects each vertebra of the spine opening through the back. So when you get to this placement, you don't push with your shoulders, you support yourself actually through the opening of your arms. That's very important. Then when you return to the vertical extension, to expansion, and then when you descend through it, descend in the descending spring, transfer the weight and extend in the degree that you're extending into one leg, extend the other one. So the descending spring and the extension correspond to the other leg, returning from above, and in the moment that you find the vertical, that's where you're descending again. So remember that when you transfer the weight, the other leg extend, coming back to the center, descending, and that is the last motion right here. So what you're learning in this movement, that as you transfer the weight, the other leg takes the balance of it, so the extension of one leg corresponds to the extension of the other. So you're extending internally. Yeah? That's the first above transfer. Once you get to the second, below transfer, your legs remain open. So from then, you're descending, and then transfer the weight in the same principle. As you're extending the leg, so you begin to find the extension of the leg inside of the spine again. Yeah? Right here, and then the last one, through it. And now, from here, from the last moment of the last movement, the beginning of the transition is a circle of the arm. First, if you would just think about the arms circle, it's a circle around of the arms that corresponding to a circle around of the legs. So, from here, the arms and the leg creates a circle to get you back into infinity. When you get to the last transition, just follow the movement of the arm and your leg will bring you with you. Beautiful. You will sense it that it's very easy if you don't think too much. So from the transition, from here, this is the last one, going to here, the circle of the arm, the circle of the leg, bringing you back into infinity stanza, the opening. Okay? Wonderful. For the first above transfer, when you descend in spring, you descend the spring and you bring it into the side, in this direction to the left leg, as the right extend through it. You are going from foundation, one arm opens into expansion, the other arms open to the suspended diamond, and then the arm that was in expansion return from above to the suspended diamond, and in the moment that you arrive to the center, that becomes a descending spring. So remember that in the range of vision, in the first above transfer, remains always forward, right here, extending right there, coming back to the center, right here. Remember that, and here you're learning how you're descending through the center, or how you find from above the center to descend from the center. This is the first time that instead of going from below continuously, we're going from above the center, finding the center, descending through the center, and transferring the weight to one leg, from above, descending. So the range of vision stay always side to side. And the second movement, once you go from below, is very much like we did in a bow and an arrow, but without the side plane. So you're descending right here, and then the range of vision changing to the leg that you're, to the other leg that you're extending. So I'm extending the leg right there, and I'm descending, and I'm finding the relation to come back to foundation, and the movement that you remember that we did in a bow and an arrow, that we're finding, jumping the space right here into it, extending it, going to the descending spring, extending it, descending, and so on. And the range of vision changing in the degree that I'm extending through one leg and one arm at the same time that I'm extending in the opposite direction. Yeah? Wonderful. I want to make clear, to clarify to you the role of foundation in these two movements, because in the beginning you may just think about that you just going side to side and the movement just arriving through it, or even when you go from above you just going around into this direction. But each time you have to touch foundation in order to be able to make the transition from one leg to another. So in the first movement, for example, after the extension of the back extension of the leg, and we arrive to expansion, we're descending to all the way down, and that will be also a form of saying foundation before we transfer the weight to the leg. And then when we're coming from above, in the moment that we touch the vertical, we are descending to foundation, and you have to make clear that each time you arrive to the sphere of foundation before you make the change. Because it's important, because that's the point, foundation from which one leg becomes the opposite movement, the other leg. Yeah? Otherwise, what happens is that I'm going to start moving from the hip, just swinging the hips, and I will bypass the center of foundation from which the movement takes place. So that is very important, especially in this one and the large one. From here, you're going to foundation right here, and that makes the transfer of the weight. So foundation is important because it's the point of symmetry from one leg takes the other one. Yeah, beautiful. And you have to, the purpose is that you're finding out in one moment, okay, foundation, transfer, going. Beautiful. Come back, descending, foundation, transfer, beautiful. So each time you have to be very, very clear in you, the point of symmetry from which one leg becomes the other leg. Yeah? Very important. In the beginning, the swinging will help you. Once you begin to find the motion, then remember foundation to create a transfer. Yeah? Wonderful. A clarification in the above transfers, that once we coming back from the forward, the back extension, and we arrive into to the descending spring, as you transfer the weight and you're coming from above, the arms are going to come back a little bit higher than the level of suspended diamond. So suspended diamond, originally, remember, in the first section, is at the level of the horizontal plane. Now, as we're coming back through it, through the circle, it's a little bit higher, and then when we arrive to symmetry, you go back to foundation. From here, follow the circle, that high, yes? It's not at the level of the original suspended diamond, but it's a little tiny bit higher to allow the shoulder girdle and the rib cage to remain suspended. Yeah, beautiful, right there. Wonderful. Remember foundation. Each time the center of foundation is the center of the other side of the crown. So you needed to sense the floor before you transfer the weight. Okay? Wonderful.